You're listening to an Adventures in Middle-earth actual play using Fantasy Grounds. You can find session summaries, items, and characters on Obsidian Portal, where our campaign is called In the Shadow of the Mountains. You can cross-reference this episode as 2946 Third Age of Leaves and Stewed Hobbit Episode 3. You'll find links to that and other forms of media for our sessions, as well as an index of this episode in the description. The party are deep in the Goblin tunnels. After a short scuffle, they located Dindy, but were unable to free him from his chains. It seems they must venture further in to find a key.
Cavern's branches, you go further out around to the end, and Mona gets to that corner. Sorry, Mona, move you. You can see it branches kind of east and west, other things, or southwest.
Are we sending Sigma, the critical master, ahead again, or are we tiptoeing along, or...
Yeah, Sigma, do you want to head out?
Go ahead. As before, sticking to the corners.
Stay frosty.
Ready.
Okay. Which way do you want to go?
Amalfried is the other end of the cavern, isn't she?
Yeah, I'm afraid. Where do you want to position yourself?
Cool.
Making a rear guard. All right. Which way do you want to go, Sigma?
Well, I'll sneak up to that corner there and have a look round, so hopefully I can see both directions from there.
In fact, you can see a little bit further this way.
Can I hear anything?
Give me a perception and tell. Sorry, that's funny. It's what great sagas are made from. You're not trying to slaughter all the orcs, you're just trying to find a key. At least I'm assuming that. No, it's quiet.
I think we should go lefty, westy.
That way, yeah? Okay, it looks like it opens into a wider area here. And actually, you can see a faint glow coming from that kind of direction. It's been dark until then, Sigma.
There's nothing coming.
Nope.
Heading from nook to cranny.
Okay. So you just creep up a little bit further, Sigma. This looks like an old smithy. So the light's coming from a forge that is dying down. So there's a very, very faint red glow coming from coals from the forge, but that's it. It's mainly reflecting off the ceiling.
Any idea of what they were making here?
Crap armor and scimitars.
Yeah, probably weapons, but you don't really know.
Right, well, move up there and look around the corner then.
I'm going to just cast his Smith's Eye around to see if there's any kind of crimpers or pincers, anything that might cut through metal.
Okay, give me an investigation check. You can do it. Sorry, probably should be in the 10. No, I mean, there is like a cold chisel, stuff like that for cutting metal, but the chain would need to be really hot for that to work.
Okay.
What you want is like 6-foot long bolt cutters, so they don't have any of those, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, Sigma, which way? Well, unless you're going to do more listening.
Well, I'm listening all the time, so if I can hear voices all and that, or hammering of forges.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of noise coming down that corridor.
Well, I think that's kind of what
Raucous enjoyment type noise.
Cool. And I will very, very carefully creep up to about there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so if I see anything, I'll stop before then. I don't want to blunder into a regard room or anything.
Corridor goes on
Oh,
until you kind of lose sight of it a bit.
then I shall go up there.
Looks like it kind of curves towards the south.
Then I shall go up to there.
It's getting noisier, and as you hear, it's opened into a much larger area here. That kind of area. So it looks like it's opened into a cavern. There's light spilling. I'll unmask that. It looks like there's light spilling from a torch just to the south, and there's a bit of light coming from a torch to the north as well. Smoky room. There's clatter of plates and stuff like that.
I think we found the goblins.
Can I see anybody in there?
Yeah. Actually, it's fairly well lit. I'll obscure a lot more.
Basically, I want to find out who's in there, and if this big goblin's in there, and if he's not in there, I'll turn back. If he is, then we'll think about it.
Mona will hold position where he is now because he doesn't want to screw things up.
So there's a lot of tables and stuff scattered down the middle of this room. with food and ale and all that kind of stuff on it. And there are a fairly significant bunch of goblins and stuff in this area. Hang on.
Any of them? The description look very big.
So so the ones you can see, there's a bunch of goblins you can see. You can't see anything that would match the description of
Bloody hell.
a big orc.
Yeah, I think no. I think that's a no.
Not even the swept jawline beard or precise anchor beard.
Drapey undies. Nourished moustache. Waved walrus moustache. Good names. Ow. Good names.
Yeah, but
Those are the ones you can see.
Sigmar's going to trot back down the corridor the other way, shaking his head furiously.
Yeah, I wouldn't get
All
too
the orcs.
wouldn't get too near to nasty breaches if I was you.
Okay, so you jog back to the other guys, Sigmar. Or creep back to them. They're pretty much having a big feast type drunken celebration at the moment.
They're drunk, but there's a lot of them. If he's in there, then I don't know what we're going to do. I couldn't see him. I think we should try another tunnel.
Roger.
Yep.
Alright.
Heading to Tunnel Roger.
Okay. Much narrower tunnel, completely quiet. Looks like it opens into a larger area a bit further on Sigma.
Well, basically what I'll do, John, is sneak along with my back to the wall until such time as I can see more. So I don't know.
Okay.
Just tell me where I get.
Don't come up to anything. You get to, looks like a crossroads set of tunnels.
Anything interesting about that? It looks like broken wood. Or is it just a...
Just trash on the floor, looks like. So these look like they've been leveled somehow. They're probably natural caverns, but they've had earth infill kind of filling in things to make them more easy to pass around, different from most of the tunnels you've been down since you've been underground.
I'm going to head back to the others and say, look, I don't know what you think, but we know that in that room to the east there's a lot of orcs, drunk, and goblins. The further we head south, the further we are from Dindy. We know there's a lot of orcs behind us. I'm happy to keep going if you are.
No.
But,
We can we not smash up, get through those chains? We can make some noise because we're all pissed and around the corner, and then just get the hell out.
an anvil. Put the chains on that. In with something.
There's one more room to the northeast we haven't tried. But I don't think we should get
Just
drawn.
looking at that.
Okay. Yeah, so the tunnel branches. South, you would guess it might be going back towards that big
That room,
cavern.
yeah.
You peer around there and oh shit.
Don't like the sound of oh shit. Unless it's the old friend Seamus oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
So your assumption is basically whoever the chieftain will have the key. You need to somehow take the chieftain out in some way. What's your view on charging headlong?
That
That was a rhetorical question. So
But ultimately doomed.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not.
If I was trying to save my mother, maybe. Some guy I met yesterday.
So yeah, what other options do you have then?
So have we seen the big goblin in the mess hall?
No, not yet. Not an obvious one. These are all much scrawnier than the guards. The guards are drunk, and these look quite drunk. Most of these goblins.
So most of these are sneaky little goblins rather than orc kind with bent sword, but still
An armoured large orc looks quite armoured and large.
an orc-like.
And most of so yeah, I'll just say it's well lit. You can see this. Do you think at the head of the table, far end,
Will be
that
the
is
big guy.
probably
Lard bucket.
he's
Couple of
well armoured,
fireballs.
a large orc, yeah.
Couple of fireballs. Rush the room.
And that is the person with scimitars as described by Dindy.
Yeah, so he looks like he looks fairly drunk. So The nasty-looking buggers, the bigger ones, are the ones with white backgrounds. The others are like small cave goblins. And Monin, you've seen those before. I heard of those before. So those kind of scrawny-looking ones, they're pretty scrawny. The whiter ones are similar toughness you would estimate to the guards. Okay, although they are fairly drunk. That one, you've got no idea, but he looks a mean bastard.
Hiding for nothing if we go into that lot.
There's 4 of us.
I'm a scholar.
Yeah, exactly.
4 of us, and I'm running low on ink. Yeah.
Yeah. We can go back to Dindy. We can make some noise. It's just, have we got anything that will smash those chains out of the wall?
Just think of what you've heard so far from communication before you like butchered people. You can do anything with it. It's a different matter. But what have you learned so far?
Feast.
Feast going on. So looking at the table, there's no hot food on it at the moment.
Where's our food? We're starving. So someone's going to come looking for food at some point. Where the hell is... And that's from the cook pot, isn't it?
We can gradually pick them off one by one.
Could be. Or...
That is highly optimistic. I don't think all...
At some point, they'll come along. They've just sent 2 guys up there, haven't they? Where's our food? They haven't come back. So at some point it's going to be, what's going on?
Okay, right, so we can wait for them to come out, and we can pretend to be orcs and pretend to bring some food in. And all that's going to do is just get us closer to the battle quicker. We could poison them if we had some poison and some time. We can't speak to them in any language, because if we do, they'll know that we're not orcs.
Yeah, it's a shame none of us speak Goblin.
You know they're quite drunk already. That's the other thing you know. They're quite drunk already.
So they'll get more drunk as time goes by. But if they send someone to investigate where the food is, they'll find all the guards are gone. If we steal the cook pot and leg it north, they may question the halfling quite severely. You read up. We just need to cut the halfling free and get the hell out.
But if we bide our time, then maybe they'll send some more up this way, like you said. Or they'll get even drunker, might start falling asleep.
So have they got plenty of ale on the table?
Some. Not enough to get them all paralytic. Everyone give me an insight check in the tower. Actually, no, make it in the open, that's right.
Insight.
Whoa! Big rolls there. Oh, sorry. There's a big roll there. And
then there's Monin. I think we're underground.
And will Frida still with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give us an insight check in the open. You kind of consider the options. The front door will clearly be suicide. You don't even know whether there's other orcs down any of those side passages coming off this main dining room, or if they're all in here or not. The kind of options you're assuming here that the big orc's got the key would be to isolate him in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some kind of surprise attack. You never know. Killing him, they may all flee in panic. They may not. But you kind of know that you could probably, going through some passages that you turn back from, you might be able to get quite close to that end of the table. There's a fairly big open area at that end of the cavern to do that. The other options would be doing something with food and drink, either disguising yourselves as orcs or something else like that, but make it easy for them to drink way too much.
Yeah.
Or could you basically get them to fight amongst themselves somehow, engineer that? That's you kind of start talking about the options. You can't really think of anything else that might work.
Get near him and attack him, we could, but it just took us how many rounds? 5 rounds to take down one guard that wasn't as big as him.
Yeah.
Risky.
It is risky.
So something more sneaky, disguising yourselves as orcs maybe, and doing something to the big food pot, the hot food, which they're getting probably twitchy for now.
Have we passed the hot food pot yet?
Yeah, it's by the Hobbit, on that big farm.
Right next to the Hobbit, yeah.
I don't want to dress up like a goblin, like some sneaky person.
We were told their armour would fold maybe one of the dressed up in the armour close with the hot food and just chuck it all over the leader. That'll at least do something.
Or go in there with loads and loads of wine and beer. Just set it down on the tables and just let them gorge themselves on alcohol until the whole pass out, and come back 3 hours later if they've forgotten about the food because they're just drinking themselves cheaper.
Yeah, I like that. I like them being, even if they do wake and try and defend themselves, they'll be no good at it. But they'll want their food. They'll want the food and they'll want their drink.
Well, you can bring out some food and drink, I guess.
Yeah, you could probably just fairly easily disguise yourselves as, say, someone quite big could disguise themselves in that big bulky armour as one of the orcs. Maybe even two of you. You would probably find it really difficult for one person to carry the cook pot. Two might be able to do it. How could you use the food? Assuming you can get a disguise working, could you use the food in any way to cause disharmony amongst them? Or the drink, I guess.
Probably down one end is going to annoy them, but I'm not sure what that's going to do for us.
Put some orcs on it.
Orc legs sticking up.
But then again, as we know that from the film, that they do eat each other. If you've seen the thing on social media, they say about if orcs are said, well, orcs back on the menu, boys, that means therefore they're aware of what a menu is, which would mean there must be something like restaurants in Mordor. And then somebody replied, well, you probably have to ring ahead because one does not simply walk into a restaurant in Mordor.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is as close as to a cafeteria as you've seen so far in Orcville. Yeah, I mean, I think your plan with the bringing the cook pot in, maybe lashing that over the leader, maybe coming in with a lot of drink to start with, leaving it for an hour until they get really annoyed about the lack of food, and then trying that to get them as drunk as possible. I mean, it's a hell of a risk. It's going toe to toe with these things.
What about a bit of
a drunken stew somehow?
What about a bit of elven wine in the pot? Wouldn't like that.
Oh, it looks like they've been drinking elven wine.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Your guess is poison probably wouldn't work against these things. The amount of rancid crap that they've probably been eating, looking at what was lying around the floor of the kitchen, they've probably been eating rotting meat on a regular basis. So filling them up, making it, if you've got, I don't know, you might be able to find some incredibly hot chili, fill the pot full of that and see what happens.
Yep. Make it vegan.
That's inhuman. No, I draw the line.
Oh my god, that would do it. That would take all the meat out of the orc stew. That would do it.
Probably weaken them though.
Well, should you ever look around to see what there is?
Let's go back up to where Dindy is.
Spirits somewhere, we can lace their booze with that.
Take a bit of an inventory of what options we got.
Okay, just move yourself all back into that cave. You have a really good look around. Probably you don't spend too much time because you know that they're getting hungry and stuff, but maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So you were previously looking very specifically for things maybe to break a chain, but now, there is lots of seasoning. There are lots of dried foods, barrels and barrels of, you would assume, beer. One's been tapped, the others look the same. There is crates of wine, dozens of bottles, literally, and looks like there is some cheap, not good, but cheap dwarven spirits, Monin. Maybe a dozen bottles of that.
Oh.
Monin's salting that away to one side.
No, there isn't. I've just checked. There's none. So we could break that stuff out for them. We rolled a barrel of beer down there and took the bottles of dwarven spirits and just sort of dumped them on the end of the table, and then immediately turned and shuffled back to go and get the food. And then deliberately left them for a bit. Maybe they'll drink some of the dwarven rock gut and go a bit nuts on the beer.
How big is the pot? Is it enough for a dwarf to hide inside?
Oh yeah, it's big. It's probably 3 foot diameter. You could kind of crouch down in that quite easily as a dwarf.
And in the mess hall, was there
not as effective as pouring the entire thing over the chieftain would probably be pretty effective as a starter for 10, especially if you could ambush him from behind.
Well, that's it. And is there like a place that we saw in the mess hall where it is obvious that a pot is supposed to be put like above some kind of mounting above a fire?
No, you'd assume it just gets dumped in the middle of the table.
Okay.
And these bottles of dwarven spirits, can we turn them into Molotov cocktails? Fire in the
probably
room.
with some finagling, yeah.
That might create a bit of chaos, mightn't it?
Can't you just do that with the elven wine instead of the dwarven stuff?
Elven wine's
not enough alcohol in elven
too
wine.
Weak and pathetic. You want something with a bit of fire in its belly.
Aye, fair enough. Aye.
Got out of that one.
Easily convinced.
What is the plan, chaps? Have you got a definitive one?
It
I never
looks
liked
like
this halfling anyway.
it looks like at least 2 of us are gonna have to dress up as goblins before we can even deliver the pot or booze.
I'm happy to do that, being Sigmar the Trickster.
Indeed.
I have a beard. I don't know many goblins with beards, so probably no good at it.
You can always shave it.
Oh, actually, hasn't he lost half of his?
Or didn't he get like a singed? I think,
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure he did. And then, so the spices round the place. I mean, if we put them to our tongue, are any of them particularly hot or spicy? Or seasonings, I think, what we said.
There's some very rich stuff there. There's like, it looks fairly stale, but there's things like lots of butter pats and lard and stuff like that. It's probably, you can make it really rich. And yeah, actually, there are some pretty hot, you would think probably from the east. It had a real tang when you opened a kind of wooden box of reddish powder.
Dump all that in.
Yep, make it spicy. Maybe might make them drink more.
Might make them a bit feisty, like it. So if we lob that into the pot along with all the butter and lard as well, just to make it greasy and rich and hopefully really hot.
It smells almost eye-wateringly hot as you're stirring that stuff in. There's an oily sheen on the top.
Like it.
It's bubbling. It looks like it's increased in temperature a bit with all the fat in it. It just looks foul, browny grey colour, bubbles coming to the surface, unidentified bits of gristle and probably human and stuff floating up and down in it.
So it's just a Friday night curry then.
Just your average Friday night. Who's going to be carrying the pot down? Who's going to be dressed as orcs to take loads and loads of spirits and wine and stuff down to the tables?
Well, I start off looking most like an orc. So
okay.
I guess Monin's ruled out because he's just wrong.
Bearded.
So it's either Hathus or Amalfrida.
Or Juan.
Juan, we could.
Juan.
He's too good looking for a dog. For an orc. So Hathus will do it, I guess.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll be too pissed to realise that.
Whoever's got the best deception skill, and if anyone wants to help, let me know. You're trying to disguise yourselves as orcs, basically.
Before we deliver it, can we just maybe work out where that eastern passage at the crossroads goes, just so that we have a quicker route into the chief if we need to?
Down this area?
Yeah, just there.
Yeah, sure.
Sigmar, if you don't mind having a wee look down there, see if you can join up to the mess hall.
I shall sneak along. I mean to move myself there, John, or do you?
Yeah, just move down. So assume you're not looking the other way. So it's quiet.
Is it too quiet?
It keeps on going eastish and then branches south as well. So Sigmar, when you're there, you can hear some noise. It sounds like snoring coming from here. You can't hear anything from the south. Which way do you want to go?
I'll go south then.
Okay, so it carries on, branches again, going east and south into a larger area by the looks of things.
East?
Okay. It's a very big cave. There's only one exit. It looks like this would probably be sleeping quarters. Rancid old furs and stuff on the ground. Lots of detritus and stuff lying around in it. No signs of any life or anything in here, though.
The snoring's not coming from here, then?
No, it's coming from that way.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go into that room and through it.
Okay, so coming out the east or northeast of it, passage goes and branches. It goes into a much bigger cavern, pretty big. You can tell it's large, and this is all very dark. There's no light in any here. The only light so far you've seen has been that feast hall, apart from the fire in the kitchen and the 2 torches in the entrance. So there's a passage going northwest, and it's opening into a much larger area. You would guess to the southeast as well. You can see quite a long way into it. As you look up here, kind of that rough area, you can see that it does appear to open into the cavern. There is an orc guard. Show you there. He's like a large-looking guard. He looks like he's quite bored. He's leaning against the wall. There is a wine bottle on the floor next to his feet as well. You can hear more snoring coming from that passage.
Okay, well, I'll go back and report this.
Yeah, Mona didn't move as soon as he heard the snoring because he didn't want to cause any problems.
Okay, so just move yourself back towards Hathis or...
Well, that way's out. So I assume, this is going to take us quite some time to get all the way down here and keep around here. They're going to be getting angrier and hungrier.
If we just turn up with a cooking pot or turn up with some alcohol and then quickly wander off.
Yeah, I mean, Sorry, I shouldn't be telling you this, but yeah, if you just dump the alcohol in the cook pot on the table, and then you'll need to leave some time for it to start biting. Basically.
So the plan of tipping the cooking pot over the chief is kind of out of the way.
I think that's over grandiose. I would just let them diffuse their anger at they're waiting for the food, stomach awful tasting grog, food, and make them drink some more alcohol so they get even more pissed, and then leave them for another hour or two, and hopefully they'll be drowning their sorrows and staggering around ineffectually.
Yeah.
Then Merlin doesn't get to have his journey in a cooking pot.
He can ride out triumphantly, gutted them all.
Oh, yeah. Right, should we do that then? Should we
yeah.
do it from the middle left tunnel?
Yes, the middle left comes nicely in the centre. So dump it in the
And Sigmar, would you just do us a quick favour and that snoring, just confirm how many are actually asleep, in case there's 20 or 30 of them.
Have a look. Have a look up there.
Okay. Opens into a fairly small cavern. Like another door out, but there appear to be 2 in here. Hang on a second. That's it. There's just a couple in that. They're kind of just asleep on the floor, lying in parts of old furs and straw and stuff.
Knives in the dark.
If you want to finish them now, maybe we could, while they're asleep.
Crestfallen drunk lead work. He's obviously had too much already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you basically kill somebody when they're asleep, or do you have to...
Yeah, so you don't need to hit. It's an auto-critical. So there's no such thing as like a coup de grace in 5th edition, but it's auto-hit and it's auto-critical if they're incapacitated, basically.
Yeah, well, criticals didn't kill the last one, so we should...
No, these are pretty small goblins, though. Yeah, these don't look like the guards. These are like bandy-legged cave goblins compared with big, tufty orc soldiers.
I do like a fat tit.
Yeah.
Oh, shall we?
May as well.
Yeah, right.
It would be rude not to.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, I'm assuming you're here. You haven't moved the character token, but are you with them, or did you stay back in the cave?
I probably stayed back in the cave. I just sneaking around. The more of us that we're going to get discovered.
Okay. Do you just want to sneak in and slash his throat with Hathis as well? Just give me a stealth check in the tower, Nil. Moving in.
Mona will just be the backup. He'll just wait.
Okay. Yeah, you get all the way up there. Doesn't wake, nor does the other one. If you're going in, give me a stealth check in the tower.
Oh, it could all go horribly wrong at this point.
No. Miraculously stealthy.
Whispering
You're
death.
really, really stealthy. Okay, so you're both kind of crouched over these smelly little goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Daggers, knives drawn.
Yep.
So just roll damage, Nil. Just target it. Roll. So shift. Okay. Killed it. Slashed its throat. It just gurgles and sighs and just dies.
That wasn't even
So-
critical, that was just one.
So to roll a critical damage, pick the weapon and hold shift down and then drag the damage dice onto it. That should roll a critical damage.
Unless you actually have rolled a critical, in which case if you do that... you
It
get
does a
one
double critical, which is really bad, yeah.
So,
I never knew that. I did learn something.
so drag the damage onto it, in the combat tracker?
No,
Or on the map, it doesn't matter.
On the map, I have to zoom in a bit, hang on. Okay. So,
Don't get into the chat window thing, it worked for me.
okay. Hang on, that's...
If you've targeted it, that'll work, yeah. But if you haven't targeted it, won't.
I've killed the fat
Ooh.
titter.
This fat titters out of it. In Sigmar, you can see that passage doesn't go anywhere. So the west. It's just an extension to the cave.
That
That's
works.
Nice.
nothing to worry about. Let's head back to the kitchen.
You heard some faint sounds coming from that passage as well, by the way, but you decided
No,
not to.
let's carry on with the plan.
Okay, back up in the kitchen. Okay, you're in the kitchen. You've added.
All manner of shit.
Alfreda's been quite proudly stirring the pot, adding a bit more seasoning, testing it for flavour. Yep, you're ready. You've got
We need to put the goblin's
half
armor
a dozen
on.
bottles of grog. I need a deception check. Whoever's going to be doing the disguising of the two people who are going to be sneaking with the cook pot.
I've got 5 in deception.
I'm
That's
rubbish
pretty
at
good.
deception, so I'm hoping someone's going to help me.
Can you give any of your abilities? You can give a bonus to a check because unfortunately, all of Sigmar's checks are at disadvantage at the moment.
I understand the question.
Is there any other check that would be relevant? I think because you obviously exhaust.
No, so
Oh.
sorry, I didn't word that very well. I think that Hathers has an ability, doesn't he, that he can give some skill advantage to certain people based on his knowledge. Oh,
No, I'm
wardens, is it? Thanks.
I'm
Stuart.
not bard. No, I'm a scholar. I'm a
Okay,
leopard.
sorry. In that case, you just need to give me a straight deception check, Sigmar. So make that in the tower.
Before they go down, can I take up position in the middle passage, back a bit in case, and listen out for screams and shouts if it all goes wrong? Kind of out there, not too close because I don't want to make a noise. So, or even if I go further back, maybe that far.
Yeah. And Sigmar, can you give me 2? Sorry, that was at disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Oh, sorry, I rolled that in the open.
Not to worry. I know which one to pick. Okay. So you actually think Sigmar's done a reasonable job. He's kind of got like a tatty old cloth over your
sorry.
head. You're as good as it's going to get. So move the 2 people with all of the drink and stuff, move them to where you're going to start interacting.
So is that Sigmar and Hathers?
Yes. So I think we're coming down this corridor here, aren't we? Into the middle of the hallway.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter, but okay.
My plan is to A, act a little drunk, B, not get into any interaction with anyone, pretty much just dump the stuff, turn and head back and pretty much ignore any catcalling, shouting and, oi, what about this? Or where's my Diet Coke? Just sort of pretty much dump it, turn and go, rather than...
I ordered a Manhattan, where is it?
Exactly. It would have been Quattro Formaggio, yeah. None of that, just pretty much dump stuff and then turn and scoot before they figure out, hang on a minute, who are they?
Okay, there's some raucous, it's getting quite raucous in there. There's some genuine sight sounds of positive affirmation. Oh, about fucking time, the drink's coming. You go in with like bottles of stuff, armloads of it, dump it in the middle of the table, and turn around and just walk out.
Yeah.
You kind of make some like the equivalent to middle finger gestures. You're getting catcalled as you walk out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems to go down quite well. And yeah, you get out, both of you fairly easily. Looks like the disguise worked.
Was that the cook pot as well, or was that just alcohol?
That was just the alcohol.
Okay, that's fine. Let's let that.
So the cook pot is going to take both of you some
Yeah.
serious lift to get that down there.
Let's let them marinate for good 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just so the alcohol can start to take some effect.
Okay.
And is there any kind of cart or trolley that we could stick this
Not
cook
that you've
pot?
seen.
Oh, damn.
There were some big trays, like catering-sized trays, you saw in the kitchen area.
Do we think we could just haul the cook pot? Or do we think...
You can carry it, but it would definitely take 2 people. It probably weighs 150 pounds.
That's,
With
well,
all the
there's
stewing.
2 of us dressing up as serving orcs, aren't there?
Yeah, you could easily carry it between the 2 of you.
So that would probably be my default then, is just leg it into, again, the middle table, and just dump it on the table, and then just leave them to it.
Okay, you come back 15, 20 minutes later with the cook pot. It's
Yep.
smelling particularly fragrant now. And you dump it in the middle of the table. This cheer goes up from all of the orcs, and some of them are literally asleep now, like slumped over the table. And the The ones are slurring really badly as they're kind of going up, slopping stew and bits of gristle and stuff all over their bowls as they try and help themselves and then go back unsteadily to their seats. That's just what you catch as you kind of make your way back out again.
Not hanging around. We might nip round to the top and start spying from the top where Amalfreda is, just to see.
Okay, so move yourself. You need to go. You've got pretty much free run of that area so far. There's nothing else around there. You haven't checked this area out yet.
We're keeping an eye on all these people, see if they really are just all falling into belching, farting heaps on the floor, whether there's still people, pockets of them partying and quite alert.
What did the big ugly orc do when we come not near him?
He leads the cheer. You can hear some goblins.
Christ, this is shite.
You can hear a bit of moaning going on about the stew. For you guys, it will be completely inedible. For them, it's kind of it's a bit spicy.
It's a bit bland tonight. I ordered the vindaloo with the Nagasaki sauce.
I see the dog.
So there's a bit of disgruntlement, but they're like shoveling it in. And there's lots of you can hear orcs belching and one leans under the table and throws up on the floor. It's like a full student party going on in there right now. The big orc's joining in. So he's big though. I mean, he's must weigh 300 pounds. So it's probably the alcohol's affecting him less than the others, and he's got pretty shrewd weaselly eyes. The only things that you've not seen anyone taking drink or food to the guard you're aware of, or anywhere else in the complex. That's the only thing that probably does concern you a bit from your plan.
Because if there's one orc in that entrance, there might be other ones.
We can keep exploring. I mean, if we're going to let these guys marinate for...
You want to try the top?
We can explore. We can go over the top and around the other side and see if it goes round.
Yeah, I'd like to do that if possible.
All right, move yourselves up there. And I'm assuming Sigmar's leading the charge.
He's on point.
Yeah.
He can stay awake.
So it opens into what looks like you've hit the mother load on the beer and wine. There was a few crates here, but this is full to the gunnels with it. And as you kind of peer around the corner, it's a big cavern, and it's basically full of booze.
And those orcs are just sitting there on their little tables, so not helping themselves. Lazy bastards. They should have the party in here.
No one in there, and it's quiet.
Any dwarvish markings on any of it?
No. This is more volume, not quality. Actually, no, that's not true. There is, it looks like there's a dwarven sigil that you can, or rune that you can see, which means black. Guess you've heard of black beer that dwarves make. That's what it is. In a barrel of it.
How heavy is the barrel?
80 gallons.
Oh my god!
Very, very heavy. Yeah, it's not trivial by any stretch of the imagination. But no way into that bigger cavern, unfortunately.
Okay, so presumably there's sleeping quarters to the left, and there must be the chief's chambers somewhere.
Which you've not found yet.
Is it just beer in this storeroom, John, or is there wine as well?
It's barrels predominantly, but beer and wine. This is where the bigger volume was, rather than bottles of stuff.
So the chiefy guy, did we see him walking around, or was he just sitting in his big chiefy chair the whole time?
Sitting and eating, basically, and drinking, farting and belching, and telling stories. Basically, it seems to be he's not walking around. He's keeping a close eye on all the orcs.
And when we went in there, did we see any other guards in any other passageways?
No, just that one to the southwest that you can still see. Doesn't mean any. You didn't really see into.
No, I just trying to think if we could go and nick his keys off him or something. I haven't even seen he's got them, so.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's quite alert and watchful.
Do you want to leave it for another 30-40 minutes in not game time, but in fast forward time a bit and see how they act? Okay. So you kind of keep an eye. They're getting drunker and drunker. More and more of them are kind of falling asleep. A couple of the smaller ones have had enough. and they kind of disappear down that passage. And look like they're going to bed or something.
They may not notice their butchered colleagues.
Yeah, another one disappears.
Right, Mullen's going to get himself down that way, because if there's going to be any discovery, it's probably going to come from that direction.
Some cluster around this table here, and they kind of seem to be separating into little factions. They look like they're playing a drinking game with some dwarven spirit on the northern table. The others, nourished moustache. How do you have a nourished moustache? He disappears to bed. The others are contending that they seem to be going towards the chief's room. One of the orc guards comes over and sits down, and actually another one appears and sits down there, and they're tucking into the food now as well. So, Monin, nothing's come into that area yet. You'd be pleased to know.
Cool.
Hopefully these guys are as pissed, sleepy and senseless as we're going to get them, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. We'll make a move at some point. Unless we wait for them all to go to sleep and retire to their previous places, then we can just go into one place.
Tell you, while we're waiting for them to sleep, Sigmar will be kipping.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, you'll need a decent long night's uninterrupted rest to really benefit. But
Yeah.
just grabbing 40 winks. I'll fast forward about another 30, 40 minutes. All of the rest of the so some of the other orcs disappear from the table near the chieftain. Monin, a very, very drunk, I mean, you're hiding, but a very, very drunk orc comes in there, and I'm assuming you drag the corpses like behind you in that hidden area. Comes in and just like lays down, groaning, going, oh, lying on the floor there. So I'm not sure if you ambush or anything, but he's kind of there at the moment. But there are some hardcore ones still sitting there.
Yeah, mine will just wait. It's only if they raise a hue and cry that he's going to react.
Yeah, he doesn't notice you. He just lies down there groaning to himself on the floor.
So we've got 3 sneaky goblins, 2 orcs, 2 orc guards, and fat boss. And hopefully they're all pissed out of their heads.
As you're looking, the fat guy gets up pretty unsteadily, belches, goes over to the corner in the wall there, and just has a piss up the wall.
Yeah.
And then disappears down that corridor.
We have a barrel of rubbish brew and walk through like we're delivering it to him.
Yeah. Good idea.
Okay.
We gather everybody up.
Yeah, well,
Actually, we can't really take moments, can we?
Yeah, Moni won't have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, but if you want to do something, Monin's just said, look, come and tell me. Just be careful.
How about this then? We go back and tell Monin now and we'll feed what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll see where the chief's gone. We'll take a barrel of beer. We're giving him some good stuff.
Monin now, we'll
Okay.
put yourselves where you want to be if we're going to be doing that.
Well, you can't get a message to Monin. Well, you can try. There's a goblin asleep in the cavern he's in at the moment.
Well, we're going to have to at some point, because otherwise, well, if we're successful, then we need to look back.
Yeah, so do you want to deal with the goblin first then? You wouldn't know there's a goblin there, but if you're trying to get a message to Monin about what you're going to do, you need to basically move yourselves down there.
Well, we
So,
can't really do anything until we coordinate, until we're all together. So, if we basically grab the barrel, go all the way round, not go to the main chamber, to where we know Monin is supposed to be,
Okay.
and then we can come from that direction with the barrel. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to have to walk down to about here with the barrel and then quietly collect Monin, yeah?
Yep. Okay, yeah, so you had no idea there's obviously someone there. As you're creeping up into the tunnel, and luckily you're being quiet, you hear a sound of an orc or goblin snoring on the floor.
Well, I've done this before, so
Sigma.
go up and do the standard trick of knifing him in his sleep.
Okay.
That should do it.
Wow.
He had a bad night, that guy.
Split him in half.
To be honest, you helped him. He's seen a bit of pain. Time to move, I suppose.
Yeah, so explaining the plan. Big guy's headed that way. Right.
We're going to go through carrying a barrel with us.
Okay.
What about me? Just follow behind?
They are pretty drunk now.
You wait just out of sight. You'll be able to hear what happens, and if battle does ensue, you can decide whether or not you want to leave us to our deaths or come and try and turn the tide.
Oh no, I don't want to just upset your plan. That was all it was.
It's either that or we try and take out the rooks and goblins and then go down and find the guy.
I imagine there'll be some sounds of battle anyway, so they might come. But yep, get the big man first.
But basically, if it goes belly up, you need to know that it's gone belly up so that you can get out. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting here waiting while suddenly the place becomes alive with alert orcs.
No, fine. I was only here in case they tipped any alarms. Now it's time to move. Let's go.
All right.
So which way do you want to come in? Do we want to come in from that bit there, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think coming that way.
Yeah, right.
And we might get intercepted by these orcs when they see us carrying a nice little barrel of beer. Doesn't matter, there's plenty more where they came from, I guess.
As you get up to the room, you can see there's been a couple more orcs have joined the party.
Oh, what?
There's 2 more orcs sitting at that table there, noshing.
Not drinking though,
go...
just eating.
No, they're drinking as well, but they're behind the curve, should we say, versus the rest of them.
So if we go in carrying a barrel between the two of us, John, and go past them and head towards the chief, us carrying this barrel of beer or whatever with us, hopefully they'll let us go.
Okay, so move yourselves to where you want to go.
So the route will be past the head of the table and then down this corridor here, yeah?
Okay.
Hopefully someone else is coming with me and it's not just Hathis doing the frontal assault.
Mona will move up as best as he wants to risk it before he thinks, hang on, they might
So
be
you
able to hear
can
me.
see corridor goes down there, opens into a bigger area beyond it, and there is a pretty alert looking guard on guard in there that I need to find. Unlock. Name? Flea infested full beard. That is a fine name.
Well, we'll play that we're drunk and we're just unhappy, so we'll sort of, no pun intended, barrel through with the barrel. Try not to ram him, but we'll look like we're a bit sort of Chuckle Brothers, a bit pissed with a barrel for the big boy.
All right. He ignores you. They ignore you. So
Cool.
move yourself kind of next to him, and I'll draw a little bit more of the room.
Can you unmask what we can see around that circle, please?
So big orcs like lay down on a bed. I'll give you a description of that in a minute.
Not that bit. The other bit.
This is good.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, so what do you want to do, guys? You basically just walk past an orc.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the chieftain is slumbering on a bed. It's loud snoring. He's like tossing and turning. It's actually quite well appointed. There's must be rolls and rolls of things like silks or linens and stuff thrown over the bed. It's covered in probably uncured hides of something, sheep hides as well. It's really interesting. The bed's actually a 4-poster. A proper... How the hell you got a 4-poster into a cavern 2 or 3 miles underground? You've got no idea. There's a mirror in this room that's really, really nice. And the guard is like chewing on, it looks like either uncooked or partially cooked meat off. He's chewing off a bone as he kind of absentmindedly looks at you as you're going through.
So we're carrying a barrel, so if we head for that, whatever it is to the due south, that might be a bench. Maybe we
next to his bed. I'm going to sort of try and lead you next to his bed, because basically what I'm thinking is, every moment that passes, our death inches closer. So I'm not going to mess about. I'm just going to put the barrel down next to his bed, and while I'm there, swell his keys, and then just get the hell out.
Okay.
So give me a whatever's best. You're so tired, unfortunately, Sigma. But perception or investigation, whichever's best. Same with you. How does? Because you know you're both looking for keys. Make it in the tower. Whichever's best of those 2.
Investigation.
So Sigma, you need to do it at a disadvantage. You need to do another one. Holy crap. Okay. On this big. You notice on that table there is like a belt and with a dagger on it, and there is a fairly big iron key ring with 2 keys on it as well.
In that case, on the way out, Walk past that and slip it under my jerkin. Now, hopefully we don't get seen.
Okay, so give me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage.
Can I try and distract the guard, John? Like maybe stumble into him or bump into a wall or something and distract him?
Yeah, sorry. So Neil, I'll have you roll that again because that cancels out the disadvantage because Hathers is helping you achieve that. So Hathers kind of walks this way, you walk that way towards the table. So just give me one stand and roll, not a disadvantage. Okay. You pocket the keys. He's suitably distracted.
Cool.
Nice.
Head down and just scoot out. Yeah.
Okay, you kind of weave up the passageway, move yourselves to where you want to be.
That's cool. The guard will relax because.
Back in the cookpot room.
Okay.
Well, actually, via our allies.
Yeah.
Okay, move yourselves up to the kitchen area if you want.
Outstanding, you two. Outstanding.
New trousers time, though.
Yeah.
Good plan. Well executed there. Okay, and one of those keys fits the padlock.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't fit. It fits perfectly, and Dindy his eyes light up, really, really excited. You just have to escape the caverns now, but you've rescued him. Well done.
Hey!
Good job, guys. I will award you some experience. I'm not sure how far you off the next level.
I only need 143, so I imagine we're pretty much the same, aren't we? So.
Yep.
I only need. Oh, what? Only need 30.
You now only need 30.
Oh!
You're getting closer, guys.
Hey, and that's where we'll leave this episode. We have managed to rescue that little hobbit who disappeared twice, and now we've got to get out of the tunnels. Thanks very much for listening. Thanks very much for subscribing if you've done that kind of thing. And thanks very much for the review on iTunes, Call of the Fae. Call of the Fae, I know where you got that from. Lords of Midnight, one of my favourite games, if not my favourite games, on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum from the 80s. Cheers. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. If you want to get in contact with us, then just check out the description and all the usual stuff. Hey, happy adventuring. Cheers. Bye-bye.